has a meaning because, like I said, it's back to who uses it and
bit of a fashionable term.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
I think for me, diverse. For me, it's the word difference, and I think I'm coming from a perspective from a place within a society where there's difference, but the difference is not accepted.
Who are you? Better yet, who am I? See, if I start at the beginning for all to see, you'll see the start is not the start, because how can you put a beginning on infinity? See, my name is not a name, it's more a digit or a number. The one is who I proclaim as I return from a definite slumber.
You've got skin colour, you've got gender and stuff like that. So naturally, we are diverse in some ways. But I think it's one of those terms similar to equal opportunities, stuff like that, that kind of is misleading how it's used in society, that people think that the outcome of opportunities is going to be the same.
It's obviously a positive thing, but at the same time, I see sort of places in the city which are segmented. I think. I mean, you've got sort of prime Asian areas, you've got prime black areas, and obviously white areas. And I'm not too sure if people integrate in the way that you would hope them to do so.
I existed before the time I cut my first pair of Nike, way before my Mega Drive, way before my first bike, way before my first doo-doo left an odor beneath my first nappy steam, way before my first gasp of air, way before my first scream.
It's a world that everybody shares. It needs to be diverse. Everyone should have appreciation and respect for each other and the things that everybody else does, as long as it's, not hurting somebody else.
Because we say we're diverse, whether you're coming from a different, background, religious background, whether you're from a different culture or whatnot, we're all different. But is that difference accepted?
I existed way before the first boom of my heart, before the tiny embryo. Like the words as I speak to you now, as a mere tadpole swims upstream, I'm talking way before my first flow. So the story you might have heard before, this one will take you right back. My existence here on earth would perform my odds were 1,000,000,000 to 1 inside my father's sack.
In Birmingham, on a street level, diversity works. Because you stand in the middle of town, within a minute, you're going to have 50 different nations walking past you in a cohesive way. So on a street level, diversity works.
Diversity means to me equality, differences, all man created equal. Everybody has their own style, section, significance, even though we're all significant at the same time. So, in all honesty, diversity is human, because every man is different to the next man, but at the same time, we're all equal, all made in God's image.
The issue is that from a corporate or from a governance, from a government, local authority level, it's very much viewed in white middle class terms. So when they talk about diversity, it's very much from an intellectual point of view rather than I've experienced it point of view.
Keep on track as I take you back like an a cappella hits an instrumental. I existed way before the constellation of Orion's belt lined up with the tomb of the great Pharaoh's temple. These are no fables, it's truth revisited. But what is truth? But the way that you tell them, as I'm the one who gave you choice and a balance of the cerebellum.
Imagine if we were all the same. Imagine if we were all, not to pick on a particular race, but all Chinese.
Yeah.
It would make life so, more difficult.
Do you think, as young people, that the communities live together in Birmingham? Do you think that they get on?
No.
No? Why not?
Because they always fight and everything.
You two seem to get on, and you two seem to get on.
But obviously, she's not a BNP, like.
She's not BNP.
Do you remember the riots?
In Aston.
Yeah. That is a big point to that. Everyone doesn't get along. Like, people segregate themselves into different, not exactly communities, but into different groups.
And it's not just BNP that's rising.
Who else? Who is it then?
Blacks and Asians and Chinese, everything.
Okay, excellent.
I'm the odyssey from space and beyond. I'm the 96% of the universe that does not exist. I am that blackbird who first chirped. I am the broken morning. My angry wrath can be found in the eye of the hurricane as those take heed to my warning.
Where I grew up myself, Balsall Heath, it was very diverse in terms of races and cultures. And I've only benefited from that in my life. Even my own background, Irish father, half Asian mother, African wife, children are mixed race, Asian, Irish, African Irish.
Yeah.
You know, it's like United Nations, and it should be celebrated. You know, the differences amongst people, the varieties should be celebrated.